Good afternoon, everyone. It's a wow, super gorgeous day. You can see all the puffy clouds. This one seems to be a bit gray. That's over me right now, but wow, the sun's shining. The little piggies are doing okay, who I was coming out to check on. Uh, I've had a very productive day and pretty happy about that. And while I was out here, kind of decided to make a video um, to touch on something. Whether you're new to doing self improvement or not, um, whether you're just changing something new, but you've changed a lot of new things, you're going to run into people who are going to want to stop your process. They're not going to like it, whether it's because it reflects on them needing to improve themselves. Um, because a lot of people don't want to look at themselves and face those hard truths. And when people see someone doing that, even if it's a mess, they still they can't uplift that person. They want to tear them down. And that's kind of being stuck in these old methodologies about, you know, are we going to be in fear and panic and look at things constantly as bad and good, that duality, or are we moving into accepting people for who they are, giving them love and compassion and kindness, and knowing they're where they are and that's okay, and trying to encourage them if they're making changes. Um, it can be a hard thing to start this, especially if you're like the first person in your family. I'm a mom. I have 4 kids. I have a husband. And when I started going through these changes, it was difficult. And it's hard to, it's so easy to go back, and they will so easily let you slip back into those patterns. And you really have to stand fast in the commitment to make those changes. And generally, that's why I only try to work on one thing at a time, maybe 2, because it is hard. You're breaking old patterns, and old patterns, whether they're things we've done since childhood or were learned in adulthood, they're still hard to break. That's why they call it a pattern. And I don't know, I've read various science that, it takes 23 days to make a new habit or something like that. I don't know. I think it generally takes us standing outside of ourselves, becoming that observer, and making the conscious choice. Is this how I'm going to react? And there are times, oh boy, I'll be sitting there and I'm watching the train wreck unfold, like, no, this isn't how I want to parent. No, this isn't how I want to parent. Oh my gosh, why are you saying this? And it still happens because I'm just stuck there. I'm trying to change, um, but I'm still, stuck on a lot of days. There's other times that I go, wow, that was amazing. That was like A plus to me. And I think no matter what it is, whether you're in the train wreck scenario or the A plus scenario, you need to give yourself still love and compassion. And if people are trying to sabotage you or bring you down when you're trying to improve yourself, you need to decide how you're going to handle them and what you're going to do. And generally, you might know who these people are, and you need to decide if, your spouse always reacts a certain way when you're trying to make a change. You know that going into it. So how can you give love and compassion to them? How can you have love and compassion for yourself? How are you holding your boundary or boundaries? And then what happens next? What do you want to see happen? And if it's, you know, arguing and you want to instead start to have conversations, then maybe you just say, I really want to have a discussion here. I'm not trying to argue. And I feel like I'm getting sucked into an argument. So for right now, I'm going to stop and step back. That's hard. Because it's very easy to go back into the argument because you've probably done that your whole life. You probably did that pattern with your parents. You're probably repeating that pattern with your children. And when you start to break those patterns, it is going to be difficult. And there are going to be people around you that are used to doing those patterns with you. And some will see you consciously trying to change. And they're going to say, you know, you don't really want to talk. You're still arguing. You're just shutting down or whatever. You need to decide how you're going to react. You don't necessarily need to plan ahead, but feel in the moment. You don't have to give an immediate response. No is a complete sentence. And when a few moments have passed, or a day, or a week, you can look back and say, gosh, if that situation arises again, I'm going to handle it this way next time. Because I did good to this point, and then I fell back into the old pattern. And there are going to be some people that it just takes a lot of work to break those patterns. And we as individuals need to decide if those people are worth our time, and a lot of times they are, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes you'll go, you know, this isn't something I need right now. I'm working on this and this and this, and I don't have time to mess with this. That's okay. And can you do that without feeling bad? It's so hard to break these patterns. You need to make sure you are giving yourself love and compassion too. Constantly, every day. Whether it's the morning and you need to give yourself a pep talk. I am going to try so hard to do this today. And if you succeed, be the biggest cheerleader for yourself that you can be. And if you fail, succeed and fail according to your terms, no one else's, just you. If you fail on your terms, then still be the biggest cheerleader. I did this time. I had everything else up against the wall. And I tried. Love and compassion for yourself. We're going to do it next time. It's okay that I didn't do it this time. It's okay if I don't do it next time too, by the way. As you're slowly moving into these conscious decisions of, I am going to stop in the moment and evaluate how I want to respond. Loving yourself in that moment, loving yourself after that moment, loving yourself before that moment. And loving the people you're trying to change the pattern with. It's not always outside people. There's plenty of internal patterns that we have to change. One of the internal patterns that I've had to change is constantly looking at food choices as good or bad. Obviously, I'm a little bit on the plumper side. And, you know, in our society, that's not always looked upon kindly. And I've spent a large chunk of my life probably since puberty, hating myself and my body, and it's only really in the last year or so that I've come to love myself. And there's still days that I slip up and I go, ugh. And then there's other days that I go, I am literally doing the best I can, and it's okay. And I'm doing that more days than not. To me, that's a success. What's success in your terms? I don't know. You get to define it, though, nobody else. I can remember buying salad. Salad is a healthy food, right? And I try not to look at foods anymore as healthy or not. Foods are to me fuel and enjoyment. And because in my personal belief system, I don't believe we enjoy food when we're not in the body. And so to me, that's part of being here. But it is also fuel for this body. And I can remember looking at salad, and this is a good food in my brain. And chocolate cake would be bad foods. And I'm going to eat this good food. And then when it would sit in the fridge and I would fail, and my husband might see me throwing out, he's not even saying anything into me, but inside my brain I'm having my own internal dialogue with him about throwing out this lettuce and how it's a waste of money and I'm always failing. He never once said that to me, but I'm literally imagining what he's saying and putting that on myself. And I think we all have things that are like that we put upon ourselves. And so it's a matter of slowly changing that, slowly not looking at food as good or bad. This is what sounds good to me today, and I'm going to have it. And that's where I'm at on my journey. And if I transition into something else, that's awesome. But this is where I'm at right now. And I'm happy with where I'm at right now. And nobody else gets to define what's happy for me. I feel like I've gotten a little bit off topic, but I really don't think I have. I think when you're making these new patterns, your inner self, your ego, is going to try to sabotage you. You might have exterior people in your life that are going to try to sabotage you. And you have to decide in each and every now moment, when those situations arise, if you're going to change or not, if you're going to change a little bit or not, a lot or not. And no one gets to define success or failure but you. And whether you succeed or fail on your terms, can you have love and compassion for yourself, be your big cheerleader for yourself, and know that in the next now moment, you have yet another opportunity to choose. And that is the power and the freedom of being here. That's so amazing. So enjoy that you're making those choices, that you get that chance to be a loving cheerleader for yourself. And know you are going to see changes in the people around you. It's just going to be slow. If you're a mom and a family with kids and a husband, they're going to probably think you're off your rocker for a little bit. And then they're going to slowly see these changes and they're going to go, oh, that's what that was about. it's really cool. It's really amazing. So keep going. If you want to keep going, keep going. Remember, there's no right or wrong. It's just what you want, the choices you want. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope you did the meditation this morning, and if you didn't, might go back and try it. It really got me charged up and ready for the day. And I just hope everybody has a great evening, next day, whatever, wherever it is where you're at. All right. Keep loving yourself. Keep having compassion for yourself. Keep being that great cheerleader for yourself.